Hey guys, welcome to Sunday service. Here we are, August 16th. When was the last time we did Sunday service, Cody?
Dude, I think it's been like a month now.
It's been a bit, man. We've both been pretty busy. What have you been working on? I know you've got, I think we were in Jamil's pool the other night, and you were telling me about you're going to Tulum. What's going on with that?
Yeah. No, we're, me and Hayel are going to Tulum at the beginning of September, and then we're going to stop in Chicago after that and come back to the heat out here.
Dude, it's so blistering hot. It's unbelievable. So let's jump into that because you and I haven't done a show together in a month.
Yeah.
Partly because I've been so busy with SubTo mentorship. I think I'm averaging, I was looking at my numbers the other day, I'm averaging about 25 hours a week in calling live sellers. Like today I called we had an accountability group just for the ladies.
Yeah.
And I called from the whole drive from Phoenix or Yuma to Phoenix today. I called all the lady sellers and it was absolutely a blast. But I've been doing so much of that we haven't been able to do Sunday service for a while. So I wanted to jump in here and do Sunday service, talk about what you and I have been up to, because we talk a lot about what other people are doing, but we haven't had a chance to talk about our plans, our expansion, what are we working on, what's working, what's not working. So let's jump into that. I can say when I left, it was really interesting. So I left the week before July 4th and departed out to San Diego, spent a month in California. And for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was a little bit shaky in terms of like, oh my gosh, I'm not physically here.
Yeah.
I need to be involved. I need to be talking to Tino and the team. And, I was overly worried. But what was amazing, I think you've been seeing this as well, is that our teams have really stepped up to the plate, filled in the gaps, and started taking responsibilities that maybe they were waiting on you or waiting on me. Like, I want to talk about what Jeff, our dispo guy, is doing for you, because I literally have no involvement on the dispo side. How's that going?
Yeah, it's going really well. Jeff has went from, obviously for those that don't know, Jeff was, doing some work with another company for months and months and months and months, never got a deal closed. And, within the first month comes and actually decides to, squat up with our team and, come to work with us and, build the company together. Right. So Jeff comes over, starts getting, deals done and helping getting deals sold. And, so it's been really cool to see where he's just, moved into owning that role. And obviously for him, it's went from him just primarily doing the dispo for us to now he's moving into the role to be, really our asset manager fully. So, just taking him through these next few projects, showing him on, how to run the projects and, run the crews. And so it's been really cool to see everything and, him just taking action and without being asked, so that's just the greatest thing is, when you have the right people, they're going to take the right actions.
Love it. So here, guys, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about Steve Crawford, a brand new investor, has 90 days of experience, just bought his first deal. I drove all the way down to Yuma, Arizona. Bro, how cool is that?
That's awesome. I mean, so many people, it takes them years. I mean, so many people never even do a deal. I mean,
or they never own a rental property, right? There's like wholesalers who get into the game then. And you and I both know some pretty high level wholesalers that are like, oh, bro, you and Pace are on another level. I'm doing wholesale, 10 deals a month, but I don't own one property myself.
Dude, my question is like, what do you spend all your money on? I mean, like, obviously it's like you spend the money on like things that you want to do, like fun things, but like, what do you invest your money in? If real estate, like doing real estate day to day, it's like, it just makes so much sense to invest in the real estate because you're accessing the best deals yourself.
Ooh, let's jump on this question here in a second. So guys, we're going to do two main things today. We're going to talk, actually three main things. We're going to answer your guys' questions live. Cody and I have been doing Sunday service for over a year and a half. And when we first started Sunday service, how janky was that, dog?
Freeconferencecallhd.com.
Oh my gosh, it was like apologizing to people all the time, trying to figure out all the buttons. How do you raise your
text me if you have a question? Here's my number. I don't know what button it is. Just text.
Yeah, it was like, I go, Cody, what number is it to ask a question? And people, it was like #6 or *6. It was a cluster for like 2-3 months, and we really, really grew it to a point where in January of this year we had 800 live viewers before we kind of slowed down how often we do Sunday service.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and it's been fun, right? So, you know, let's jump into a couple of these questions. So Mo says, can you speak to what happens after you take over a property? Are you managing your properties yourself, or do you have a company that manages them? So between Cody and myself, so I'm in a couple partnerships, Cody and I are in a couple partnerships, and then Cody and I own properties together, and I own some properties on my own. Cody owns a couple properties on his own. So collectively, the properties that Cody and I are involved in is probably a little over 100 properties. Between all those partnerships, what Cody and I own together and our properties we own separately, right now we are managing everything in-house. Everything is managed in-house. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it's definitely one of the things that's stressing Cody out. Cody keeps talking to me about it. He's like, we either need to hire a couple more people in-house, because we do have contractors in-house. When Cody and I linked up a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I brought and Cody inherited an entire construction company. You know, I've been doing it for 10 years prior. So all the fix and flips that Cody and I do, we crank through them, have a fraction of the problem that other people have. But that same construction crew handles our repair requests and all that kind of stuff. So that's a massive benefit to us, is having that construction background from my side. And then Anna, who's been with me for 6 years, Cody also inherited that experience with Anna. So Anna manages our guys. She manages the repair request. But I would say, honestly, one of the biggest reasons why we haven't ventured into, you know, starting a property management company or hiring a property management company is because our primary exit strategy is lease options.
Yeah. The thing is with the lease options, it's a lot different type of tenant, because they see themselves as a resident buyer. They don't see themselves as a tenant that's just leasing the property. So, you know, there's not as much management with those people. Setting everything up at the beginning, you know, setting up your insurance, setting up servicing, setting up all the things really takes the most time. And then getting that initial lease option tenant into your property, that's, you know, the next thing that takes some time. But once they're in the property, and if you screen them right, they're going to be in there for a while. And, you know, in our agreements, we're not maintaining the property. They're treating it as a resident owner. So that's a big reason why we haven't, you know, outsourced to a property management company. I know we definitely will. Bro,
come on. You and I together, we're the dream team, dog. There ain't no way we're outsourcing to a property management company. We're just going to do what? We're going to start our own property management company. Everything Cody and I do works out incredibly well. Number one, we are in a lot of ways polar opposites of each other, and then in some ways we overlap. Right? Cody has some visionary tendencies. I have a few integrator tendencies, but primarily we both stay out of each other's way. And if nothing else, Cody and I encourage each other to go do the things that are our superpowers, right? So that's number one. Number two, we both have work ethic like you wouldn't believe, right? Every single day. Saturdays, like yesterday, we were at my house on this whiteboard. I don't even remember what this stuff is. Oh, I know what this is. This is our acquisition team expansion. Oh, yeah. Right? We were talking about expanding our acquisition team and jumping into either Atlanta or Texas, and we're not quite sure which one we're going to jump into, and having those kind of conversations. So our work ethic is nonstop. Like, it's not even a work ethic thing. It's that we truly love what we do. Like, people are saying, I hate my job or I hate what I do.
No, every day I'm excited. I mean, I was like, how do you just always get up and you're just like going every day? And it's like, it's fun, you know, it's fun to, you know, continue building. And obviously there's certain things that aren't fun, but those are the things that we try to outsource as quickly as possible to a VA or something. So, you know, but it's fun.
Cody, let's jump into this question, because this is interesting. We just got a property under contract, I think very similar to this. It's the one from the 1.5% interest deal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When
So
you read this out loud and then answer the question.
If you're able to at some point, when you're working a SubTo or owner finance and they have a tenant, what's the best way to handle that when they don't want to let the tenant know too early? So the best thing that we typically do, and this is in regards to any time you're dealing with the tenant, is we have either the seller, or if they're using a property manager, the property management company contact the tenant and let them know, hey, we're going to be having our insurance agent walk through. We're having our contractor. We're just looking for things that we want to potentially do to, upgrade the property or, different things like that. Just a quick inspection. That's what we typically will say, so we don't spook the tenant. And then obviously if we get in there and we don't want to buy the deal, we don't want to hurt the seller's relationship with their tenant. So we just keep it real easy for that seller. And that's how we frame it.
So, couple of things that Cody and I have been working on. I'm actually really excited about this. I think we're probably a month away from being done with it, but we get so many questions about our business that Cody and I decided to put together a website. I'm pulling it up right now. It's a free website and it answers the majority of your questions. Cody, what's the name of the website? It's free. There's no upsells. There's none of that kind of stuff in there.
Yeah, roadmaprei.com is the name of the website. We got to make some, there's some edits on there that I know that we're working on and getting updated, but it's a pretty well put together roadmap right now.
Yeah, so we're putting together a roadmap that answers the majority of the questions. So we have some questions in here saying, hey, how do you guys generate your leads? We're creating a map that kind of tells you everything about our business from the service level so that we can keep most of the conversations at a very deep level. We love getting deep. So Ryan Zwerneman, the answer to this question is really good. So Cody and I just bought a property in Mesa, and Cody answered the question. He wants it the way he wants to answer it. I'm going to answer it a little bit different. In this situation, we actually prefer that he has the tenants, because when we bought the property, we are immediately cash flowing this individual property. We bought it on seller finance at 1.5%, and we're cash flowing. How much are we cash flowing right out of the get?
It'll be like $300 a month.
Okay, so like $300 a month we're cash flowing, and then once the tenant's lease ends, so we bought a house seller finance just recently, took over the tenants. We don't have to do any renovation right out of the gate. Cash flowing $300 a month. What's even cooler about this is isn't the seller, we're closing escrow, I think, this week, and then the seller is letting us take the next 2 or 3 months of payments, and we don't have to make any payments to him, right?
Yeah, no payments till November 1st.
Right, so we're going to collect the rent payments for the first 2 or 3 months, so we actually will cash flow $2,000-$3,000 before we even start making any payments to the seller. Then once we start making payments to the seller, we'll be at around $300-$400 a month in cash flow. But then when the tenant moves out, that's when we'll probably bump the rent rate up about $300. We'll be around $500 to $600 a month on that individual property. So we'll probably go back to the tenant and let them know, hey, we'll give you the opportunity to stay in the property, but we're going to raise the rent. And if they don't like that, no problem. The rent rates in Phoenix are going crazy right now. So it's actually a good thing, Ryan.
Prices in general, like I was looking at just some of the properties we bought at the end of last year, and I was just like, it's insane. Like Colorado, one of the hybrid seller carry SubTos we bought in Chandler, we bought that for $135, and I think it's probably worth like $165 right now, $170. It's stupid how much everything's been going up.
So I just checked the Roadmap REI. It is absolutely working. Roadmaprei.com. I took that link directly from the website, and it did pull up for me. So let me do a little bit of a screen share for a second, and I'll show you that it's working, because this does happen from time to time. So you guys are going to have to see this screen, but boom, check it out. Pace and Cody's Roadmap to Success. Don't have access yet. So basically, this gives you access. The problem what we have a lot of times, if you guys have been following us for any certain amount of time, is that people take everything that we create. They take my seller calls, they try and snake our deals, they snake our paperwork, they try and take everything we can. We even had somebody DM me today, Cody, and said, hey, does this guy work for you? And I'm like, no, I have no idea who that is. What's going on? And she says, he says, this guy told me he's the CEO of SubTo.com and that I should come pay for mentorship with him. So I go, send me a screenshot. He's a total scammer. So I had to go in there and block him. So guys, those kind of things happen. So we make it so you guys give us your information so we know who's getting access to that kind of stuff.
Dude, it's amazing.
Creighton, let me shout out Creighton. Creighton spent the day with my wife and kid up in Seattle today. Creighton, thank you so much. My wife had a blast. Thank you so much, bro. She called me. She was like, wow, you are so lucky you have such amazing students. And I'm like, look, I consider Creighton a friend. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate that. Walter Wicks, what's the best answer to provide a seller when explaining SubTo? And one of the questions is, what happens if you don't make a payment other than telling them about performance deed? I tell them that's the best thing that could happen to them if I don't make a payment, because they'll either get the house back and keep my deposit, or they'll get late fees. So I don't know what the downfall is on that. The way that we structure these deals, I've got a deal right now. I almost want to show the paperwork on this. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick.
While you're doing that, I think the thing is too that people have to realize is, somebody posted this in the creative financing Facebook group yesterday. They're, basically saying that the seller, isn't motivated to take a SubTo offer. And then, after really getting deeper in the conversation with that individual, it was the seller was not motivated, period. So I think what you guys have to realize is a seller isn't going to sell a house to you SubTo or seller carry if they're not motivated. I mean, if they're not motivated to sell quickly, they're going to go list it on the market. That's where they're going to get the most amount of money, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you lost the deal. There's other deals to get. That just means that was never going to be a deal for you. So It's understanding that as well.
So let's jump into, we're going to jump back into answering questions today. So we're going to do 3 things today, guys. We're going to do a bunch of live Q&A. Number 2, we're going to do a screen share on a deal that we just locked up today. It's actually going to be a fix and flip. And maybe Cody will show us how we're going to underwrite this fix and flip in a little bit. But the main thing and the main reason I was excited about doing Sunday service today was actually bringing in this gentleman right here named Steven Crawford out of Yuma, Arizona. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the video I posted today about Steven Crawford's first deal ever. Welcome to the show, Steven. How you doing, bro?
Good. How are you guys doing?
You gave me chills like 10 times today, bro.
What's that?
I said you gave me chills like 10 times today when we were hanging out.
Oh, yeah. No,
I think my favorite part of the whole time we spent together is that you were talking about how you were going through. So, Steven, I'm going to start your story and then I'll let you kind of finish it off. Steven was going through some frustrations at work. And he basically spent 4 years of his life getting ready for a job promotion and busting his guts, being knee deep in engine fuel and all that kind of stuff. And basically he gets moved to the side for somebody else to get a promotion that had not put in anywhere near the amount of work as he did. So in a fit of rage, I guess you could say, he went to Google and he Googled how to get rich.
Yes.
Which is I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. Like he
That's
literally
amazing.
went to Google. He went to Google and was like, how to get rich. When you pulled up Google, what did you learn on Google? What did Google say about how to get rich?
I just Googled, I Googled quickest way to get rich.
Oh, that's even better.
And the answer that came up was real estate. And after that, I Googled how to get into real estate without any money. And that's what kind of led me down the path towards wholesaling and figuring out what that was, because I couldn't wrap my head around what it was. I didn't understand it. So that eventually led me to Steve Trang's podcast on YouTube. And after watching about 2 or 3 of those in a row, I came to your interview on Steve Trang's podcast. And that's where I decided that this is what I'm going to do.
Love it. So you joined. So we launched the mentorship. I was doing a little bit of coaching prior to that, just kind of some private stuff, testing out, whether I really wanted to be a coach or not, because Cody and I are practitioners in real estate. So I was fearful that if I started a mentorship, it would actually hinder my ability to do my actual business, right? So what happened is I go through that, I launched the program, and Steven, I swear you were like one of the first 20 or 30 guys into the SubTo mentorship.
Yeah. I was following very closely, and I wasn't sure if you'd already started it or what had happened. So I had put in my name like probably 10 times trying to get into the next round if it was going to happen,
Yeah, we were only releasing about 20 spots in the mentorship at a time, and we had 1,600 applications in 1 week. It was so wildly popular, and so we had to sell it out. We had to close it out. We had to close it out. We had to close it out. So it was a little bit challenging for a lot of people to get into the mentorship originally. And then, so let's go into this deal. Let's go into how did you get the lead? Okay, and then everybody's saying turn up your volume, so you got to talk a little bit louder.
Okay, is that sound better?
Yeah, that sounds better. Just make sure you're talking a little bit louder. That's all you got to do.
Okay. Yeah, well, I got the lead from the SubTo mentorship. It's another guy in the SubTo mentorship who was doing some cold calling in Yuma, which is where I'm from, and come across a lead where the seller wanted $120,000 in cash, and he kind of presented the idea of terms, and she was interested, but she wanted a big down payment. So he didn't really know what to do with it at that point. So he got a hold of me, knowing I lived in Yuma, and asked me if I wanted to try and do something with it. And I said, absolutely. And that's when I went to work trying to solve that first issue of how do you get $20,000 if you don't have anything.
Love it. Okay, so let me recap, because there's a handful of people in the comments saying that your audio is not good. I can hear you just fine. So there might be something where your microphone is covered or something like that.
Okay, it's better.
I have no idea. I can hear you just fine. So there's just a handful of people. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna recap what you said.
Okay.
So Steven's in my mentorship, SubTo.com, and we teach all about how, look, we teach everything, right? Cody, you'll see Cody and I talking about skip tracing, text blasting, cold calling, door knocking. We talk about it all because we do it all, right? But I also teach people how to get free deals by working leads that nobody else can work, right? That's the advantage of creative finance. So Steven and another person start working on this dead lead. So you get it. It's basically a dead lead, right? Somebody brings it to you and says, hey, Steven, I don't know if you can do something with this, but I can't, and I need help. So what did you do from there? What was your first conversation with the seller once you got this dead lead?
Well, I called and kind of just played I'm in a partnership with the guy who gave me the lead, and just kind of heard her out on what she wanted. She gave me I want $120,000 cash. And I kind of told her, well, if I was going to make you a cash offer, it would be so much lower than that. I used the verbiage I learned in the mentorship. And I said that cash offer was going to be so low that I didn't want to insult you. So
nice.
From there, I kind of represented the idea of terms. And from that, I got down kind of what she wanted to do, and she wanted to move out of the state and how much she felt like she needed, which was the $20,000. So she needed a down payment of $20,000, and one of the things I noticed is she never brought. She wanted to know how much her monthly payment was going to be if we did do terms, and I gave it to her over 30 years, and she said that wasn't going to be enough, so we shortened it to 20 years. But one thing I never did was bring up interest. Yes, never brought it up. Instead of like saying, oh, okay, we can use interest to bring up the payment, I just shortened the length of the terms to 20 years, and that brought up that payment to something she was comfortable with.
Right. So that people think that it's like some massive calculator and this spreadsheet and all this stuff. And they're like, oh my gosh, what did you use? How did you structure the deal? Look, ultimately what you're doing is you're trying to make sure the seller is comfortable and happy with what they're asking for. What we haven't talked about yet is this house is probably only worth $110,000 to $120,000. You paid $120,000 for the house.
Right. So if you could you couldn't wholesale it to somebody.
No, you couldn't wholesale it. You couldn't fix and flip it. There's nothing you could have done. And the reality is, if she hired a real estate agent to list that property, the lady probably would. Hey, Carrie, maybe you needed to. We got a lot of people in the comments. Carrie DeLove says she can't hear him. Carrie, you probably need to turn up your volume. I'm sure you've tried that, but there's a lot of people in here saying that they've heard it, okay? Daniel Wynn, thoughts on imputed interest. You need to look that up. Thoughts on imputed interest only kicks in at $150,000 or higher. So this doesn't actually reflect in this transaction, but it's a really, really great question. And since you're in the mentorship, I'll touch base on that at a deeper level probably sometime this week now that you brought that up. Yeah, Carrie, I assumed you were at full blast, but I just thought I'd double check. So Steven, I'm talking loud, but I have a really, really nice microphone so people can hear me probably really well. You've got Sebastian Roman. You got a lot of people saying they can hear you fine. But for the people that say they can't hear you, let's just at least try to talk a little bit louder so we can at least get rid of the complaint that it has anything to do with you. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. So you get a seller. She says she wants 120 grand. People ask this question all the time. Why would a seller be willing to give you 0% seller finance on a house? Why would they be willing to do that? Tell me, what did she get in return for the 0% seller finance?
A headache-free exit from her home. So she didn't have to pay a real estate agent. She didn't have to go in and fix whatever's wrong with the house before it could be sold. You know, there was nobody who came in and inspected it. You know, all those things, you know, cost money, add up. You know, she's walking out of here with $120,000 for let's say the house is worth what I paid for it. She's walking out with $120,000 for a $120,000 house. She's going to get all $120,000. It's just going to take 20 years.
Right. So here's the amazing thing about this. So I get DMs all day long and it's like, oh, I'm in a really competitive market. Sellers want full retail. And I'm like, so? I don't get it. This house that I'm living in right now, same thing with Cody. Cody lives in his own subject 2. He's in one of our subject 2 houses. That one's actually his house, not mine, not shared. But this house would cash flow $1,000 a month if I did not live here and I rented it out. But I paid full retail. In fact, I think I paid $5,000 or $6,000 over the ARV. But really in creative finance, what you're looking for is you're looking for the ability to cash flow. You're looking for an easy entry into the deal. And then you're looking for your tenant or you're looking for whoever it is going to live in the property. Cody and I also have an Airbnb in Vegas. So it can be an Airbnb. It can be a group home. It can be whatever. You're wanting those people to make the payment towards the mortgage. So what's amazing is about a 0% seller finance is that what's your payment to the seller and how much of that payment goes directly to the principal, Steve?
Right. So I pay about $400 a month for this place, and I gain $400 of equity every payment. So that's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's insane. So let's go through the numbers. So you bought the house for $120.
Right.
The lady wanted $20,000 down. We're going to go through the story. There was a point in this that you were going to wrap the property, but now you're actually renting it, right? So Randy Wong's talking a little shit over here on the side, by the way. There's always one shit talker. But that's actually,
gotta say, I don't see it.
It's actually a really funny joke. Randy, I appreciate that a lot. So you get a deal. You pay 120 grand for a $120,000 house. Seller wants $20,000, which also means you have to come up with the closing costs. You have to come up with, cleaning up the property, and you have to come up with the first couple of months of payments until you get a tenant in the property. So the reality is your entry fee on this deal was about $25,000 to $26,000. You reached out to me because you're one of the students and you said, hey, I need a lender for this deal. And I helped you find a lender for $30,000, right?
Right. That's so what I originally tried to wrap it, and I ended up scrapping that idea when you gave me that advice and told me, hey, what you should do is keep this place and turn it into a rental. Let me help you find somebody who wants to invest. And I used a private lender to take the deal down.
So Mo Sutton, this is what's interesting. Mo Sutton says, Steve, how did you deal with the $20,000 that she wanted? Originally, Steve was going to find a wrap buyer. Somebody was going to live in the property. Somebody's going to treat this as a homestead property, live in the house, and give Steve a $20,000+ deposit, from what I remember. Steve, how much money was that wrap buyer going to bring to the table? Do you remember?
$20,000 for the down payment, and they were going to pay half the closing cost. And so I was going to end up having to come out of pocket on that. And I figured I was going to do it anyway, just because I wanted to get the deal done. But
what happened? What happened with that wrap buyer? Why did you not use? Why did you end up not going with that wrap buyer?
Well, that wrap buyer was a little bit weird and wanted to. I had an uneasy feeling that they were going to be late on payments, and so I had the transaction coordinator put a extremely big late fee in the contract. And when they saw the contract, the buyer called me and tried to negotiate down the late fee. And my response to him was one text, and that was, "I think you're just going to pay me late."
Oh yeah, all the time.
And after that, that's when I made in the SubTo Facebook group, I made the post, "What do you do for an 11th hour pullout? You know, if you're uncomfortable with the buyer."
So what happened?
You said, "I'm going to call you in a minute," and you gave me a call, and we talked about it, and you gave me the advice that I should not actually be wrapping this. I should be finding a private lender to help me take the deal down and get the place in rent-ready shape.
So here, guys, here's why I told. So Steve was going through. He gets the lady under contract. Let me catch everybody up to speed. Okay. I'm going to catch everybody up to speed. So he gets the lady into a contract. He hires Rochelle Jarvis, which is Cody and my transaction coordinator. She's part of the SubTo mentorship as a bonus. You guys have the ability to hire her, which is amazing value because she knows creative financing transactions, paperwork. She's done thousands of wholesale deals. She's done thousands of fix and flips. She's incredibly, incredibly valuable. I feel like that feature alone in the mentorship, being able to utilize our transaction coordinator, hands down makes it worth the mentorship by itself. But you hire her, you open escrow with Eileen Brown, title rep, and you get the ball moving. And you go, okay, well, I'm gonna have to come up with $20,000+ to get this deal done. So I'm gonna go find a wrap buyer. And the main reason why you decided to go find a wrap buyer is because in a wrap situation, your buyer or your homestead buyer is going to bring a larger down payment to the table. You find a buyer. I imagine you probably found them on Craigslist, right?
Yes, I just put out an ad showing pictures and kind of giving. I didn't really put the terms. I just put an ad out there and said willing to finance and let people, ask me what are the terms, and then you give it to them. So that way you get more people. And then also anybody who's not interested in those terms, like say the down payment was too big, I knew I could keep their numbers. And then the next time I had a deal, I could reach out to them and show them the next deal. So I kind of
right. So here's what happens. So he gets this wrap buyer, and this guy gets super squirrely. He gets super, super weird. Yeah, Steve goes into the SubTo private Facebook group where just mentors students are in there. He makes a post and he says, "Guys, I have this crazy wrap buyer. He's doing this, this, and this. He's already challenging me on a late fee," which is ding, 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 a super big red flag in my mind. So I sent you a message. I said, "Steve, get on the phone with me right now." And what I ended up doing is I ended up telling you, Steve, I go, tell me about the deal. Tell me why are you choosing to go the wrap route? And then when you told me it was a 0% seller finance deal, I about lost my freaking mind. I was like, what are you doing? You need to raise a little bit of capital, get the deal done, put some money in your pocket, and keep this house for the rest of your life. It's a 0% seller finance. Don't wrap this because now your wrap buyer is going to get all the benefit of this 0% basically, right? Obviously, you would have charged them a percentage and all that kind of stuff. I get that. But the reality is you were basically given a free house. And I said, Steve, do not let this deal go to waste. You said, well, Pace, I haven't gotten to the part of the mentorship where I learned how to do raising private capital. Very quickly, I helped you find a lender. That lender came in and brought $30,000 to the table. So let's get everybody up to speed on what that $30,000 is for. $20,000 goes to the seller. I think closing costs were about $1,800. I saw the closing documents.
Right.
And then you had, you'll probably be about $1,000 in cleanup and whatever. And then you'll be about $1,000 in miscellaneous payments and utilities and stuff like that before your tenant moves in. So you actually have about $4,000 to $5,000 in cash in your pocket by putting this deal together and raising the capital. $0 out of pocket, and you actually have money extra surplus as like a rainy day fund, right?
Right. Yeah. So I knew that I'd never rehabbed anything before, so I gave myself a lot of room to play with, and now everything I can do to keep that, the rehab down and getting it written ready, I can pocket the rest of that money. So that's
right. Yeah, you can put the money in your pocket, right? Leave it for a rainy day. Go buy, whatever you want to do.
Have a war chest in case anything goes wrong. Since it is a rental, I'll have like a little bit of money set aside that if something needs to be fixed, say the water heater goes out or something, I can fix it.
So guys, let's break down the numbers. So he has a payment to his seller. It's 0% seller finance. So he makes a payment to the seller for $400 a month.
Right.
And that pays down his principal 100%. There's zero freaking interest at all. So $400 goes to the lender, or I'm sorry, to the seller. Then you have a payment of about $250 to the lender.
Yes.
Then you have $50 in insurance and $50, I don't know, probably about $60 a month in taxes. So all in all, I believe you're about $750 all in total payments. There's no HOA whatsoever, right?
Right.
So now you put the ad out. You're getting you're getting a response to your ad every single day for rent, right? So you've got a hot commodity on your hands. You've had it listed for about 3 weeks on Craigslist only, and you've probably had 30, 40 people reach out to you, right?
Right. I haven't even put out an ad with pictures yet. I just put out an ad on Craigslist that said it was a feeler ad just to see if I could get it, just to see if I could get 1,000 for it because I wasn't sure. So I put out an ad that just said two bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2 car garage AC, place to park an RV. That was it. $1,000, and every day I get at least one inquiry. That's without even a picture. So I'm sure once I clean the place up and get an ad out there with some photos and things like that, it'll drum up some interest, and I'll get I'm thinking about $1,200 a month. So it should.
Yeah. When I went to the house and I was looking at the neighborhood today, I told you today, I said, you need to advertise this at $1,250. You'll probably end up getting $1,150 to $1,200 in rent, which means you're going to cash flow about $500 a month. And then after, some slush fund and repair and maintenance and all that kind of stuff and allotment, you will net cash flow on this property about $300 to $350 every single month. And you made $4,000 up front.
Right.
You got 0% seller finance. You didn't put any money out of your pocket. And this is a property you will own for the rest of your life.
Yes.
This is your first deal.
My first deal. And another funny thing about it is if you calculate how much I spent on this mentorship and how much money this first deal, just the first one, will give me, I think I came out to about, for every dollar I've spent on this mentorship, the return so far is 42 to 1.
Wow.
So that can only go up because I can only get more deals.
Yeah. So what he's saying, guys, is the education he paid for SubTo and seller finance and the continued education and obviously support he has, he is getting a 42 to 1 return on just the first deal. And obviously it's not a yearly fee to be in the mentorship. Once you pay, you're in for life, right? So It's super cool. And I'm looking at guys in the comments that are also students, and shout out Tristan, shout out Creighton, shout out guys like Matthew Simmons and other people have really helped Stephen Crawford along the way as well. Is there anybody else you can think of off the top of your head? Quincy?
Yes, and Oscar, the closer. And Matthew Simmons. There's been a lot of people that help me out, just answering questions. Every time you ask a question in the Facebook group, always answering those questions. It's been, that's a very valuable tool, well worth the price of admission.
Don Plain, we touched base on this about 4 or 5 minutes ago, but I know people are kind of tuning in, tuning out on this type of program. How much to the lender Steve brought into the deal? The lender gets about $200, $220 every single month. And Amy Turnbow says, congratulations, dude. This is awesome. So let me break this down really quick. This is why this is so amazing. People all the time, you'll hear even my counterparts, my good friends that I have on other podcasts, they'll say, oh yeah, guys, you got to start with wholesale. You got to start with wholesale. Got to start with wholesale. Creative finance is too hard. And I'm sitting here looking at this deal and I'm like, a wholesaler couldn't have done this deal. A fix and flip couldn't have done this deal. A real estate agent could not have done this deal. Nobody could have done this deal. Steve Crawford, who Googled how to get rich quick 90 days ago, now owns a property, 0% seller finance with very little experience. That's how easy it is to get into creative finance. It's amazing. It's like there's certain words or something that's going on inside of creative finance, like SubTo and other really technical words that people use that really make people think that the barrier of entry of getting deals and making money is way higher than it really is.
Well, another thing too is you can get into a deal and figure out how to do it along the way. You don't have to know everything as you start the deal. You can start the deal and then solve issue after issue after issue, learning along the way, which is what I did with this deal. This deal, I did not know how, I didn't know how to do much before it. And now I know this much more, but I'm still learning. So
right. You know what? I was telling somebody the other day, Cody and I, every single time we do a transaction, we probably learn 3 or 4 things, even in our wholesale business, even in our fix and flip business, in our creative finance business. Every single deal we learn something. There is no such thing as I know everything about real estate. So one of the most important things you can do is surround yourself with an amazing community of people who are supportive, who also have resources you don't have access to. I mean, that's what you were talking about earlier, is that you had 10, 15 students from SubTo reach out to you and lend support on not just this deal, but also lead generation and lead management, all those kind of things, right?
Right. Like people like Jonathan Marks, who have a lot of experience, who took time to help out. Tristan helped out, just always answering questions when you have them. Those kinds of things really make the difference. You don't want to be the big fish in the small pond where you're having to tell everybody around you what to do. In this mentorship, I'm a small fish in a big pond with big fish who can help explain things, so it helps you rise to the occasion, which I thought was, really helped me get along faster, learn faster, help me step out when I always had an answer, like, okay, what do I do now? What do I do now? Okay, well, here's what you should do now. Like, for instance, I was going to go and talk to the seller, and I didn't know what to do about a contract. And Matthew Simmons said, who cares? Just have her sign anything. Just go get a contract, have her sign it, and work it out later, and things like that. So I got this right here I wanted to show you. This is like my first contract, which is just a handwritten. And it doesn't say anything about seller finance or anything. It just says that I have the sole right to purchase the property. That's it, had her sign something just to have something signed, just so I can say, okay, now I can advertise it to, other people, figure out what I'm going to do, start solving those issues,
Love it. So Mo Sutton says, Pace, I've been trying to do wholesale for 1 year and I've been in the mentorship for 3 weeks. I signed my first contract last week. Mo, bro, please bring that to the Zoom call on Tuesday night. I'd love to hear all about it. One thing I want to touch base on is I wanted to touch base on DJ Martin. So DJ Martin, check this out. Cody, I don't think I ever told you this. So DJ Martin in the SubTo family, he sends out a free, the batchleads.io/Pace. What do people get?
500 texts for $1.
So DJ Martin sends out 500 text messages, gets his first contract ever from 500 free text messages.
Wow.
Gets a novation agreement. I saw it, DJ, I saw on your social media. So guys, that's the other thing Cody and I do. I know we talk a lot about SubTo, we talk a lot about seller finance, but guys, we do it all. Okay, we are real estate investors. And what we talk about is people go, Well, I'm a wholesaler. Okay, well, you're the one little tool in a tool belt. We are the tool belt. We do it all. Okay, so we do fix and flip. We do seller finance, subject to. We do land development. We're doing everything in the real estate game except for traditional real estate. We let my wife do that. My wife lists all of our property. But guys, it's truly that easy. DJ Martin sent out 500 free text messages from a promo code that we have. I'll throw it in here just so you guys have it. batchleads.io/Pace. If you go to that, you'll see how DJ Martin got his first deal ever. DJ, how much are you making on that first deal if you're still watching? By the way, what's cool about this is that Keen, she's also in the mentorship. Steve was talking about this contract. So he shows up to the seller's house, and I talk about this all the time. As long as when you get to escrow and when you have your transaction coordinator, you have the proper documentation, it really doesn't matter what the seller signs up front. Get a piece of paper, get a napkin, have the seller tattoo the contract on your back. Steve, you need to frame that, by the way. So he then hires our transaction coordinator, and you have her basically amend all the paperwork. She gets everything done. Did you have to handle any of the paperwork along the way whatsoever?
No, she did all of it. And and also I had her on the phone while I was going through the contract with the seller. So it really helped, put grease in the gears of the deal. It made it sound like I knew what I was doing when I actually had no idea what I was doing, because I just borrowed her, as, her knowledge. I used her to help me get through that. So it just made it look real smooth and like real professional.
Hey, DJ Martin, I'm curious because I don't know if you guys are in escrow yet, but I imagine you guys are going to crush it on that novation agreement. I want to hear all about that. It's probably been 2 or 3 weeks since you were on that novation agreement, at least doing the renovation. I want to know how much money you plan on making. Oh my gosh. Okay, so next week's guest is going to be DJ Martin. DJ, will you come on the show next week? I'd love to chat with you about that deal. I want to talk about how you got the deal, how you negotiated it. DJ Martin was very similar to you, Steve. He joined the mentorship very early on. And I remember, Cody, you remember when I went up to Flagstaff for like a week with Jamil?
Yeah.
That whole week, DJ was like going through this first novation agreement. It was like I was just on a bonus Zoom every day walking him through the steps. Bro, $80,000 on a novation agreement off of a free text blast. And people make it sound like this is so hard. DJ, I know that same thing with you, Steve. Like, it's not like you just got the contract and all of a sudden it was easy. Like, you had to deal with a crazy rap buyer. You had to deal with confusion, anxiety, stress of like, I don't know what I'm doing. So you had to keep coming back to the mentorship, asking questions, coming back to the mentorship, asking questions. I remember on a lot of Zoom calls, you're sitting in your car, you're like, hey, I'm doing, you're out there making it happen. And then when you have a problem or a question, you come to the mentorship, not just with me, but also with the other students that are super helpful in that group. Right.
And that, I mean, it's just like that group environment is so helpful. It's so valuable. You just can't, if you need an answer right then, you can put a post in that SubTo Facebook group and you'll have 3 or 4 answers within an hour. So, I mean, it's invaluable. If you don't have a whole lot of knowledge, that kind of thing is invaluable.
So guys, here's what I want to do. I'm going to let Steve go. Cody and I want to get Cody into some systems, and I want to start asking some questions in the side comments. Steve, thank you for joining us today. Thank you for talking about your journey. Here's what I want everybody to do. If you're not currently in the mentorship and you don't have as much support as you really think you need, I would reach out to Steve Crawford. You don't need to join the mentorship. Reach out to Steve Crawford. Reach out to Creighton. Reach out to Oscar. But Steve Crawford just closed his first deal. Reach out to him on Instagram at Steve. Is it at Steven Crawford REI?
Yes. So you can DM me there, and I will answer questions.
So guys, what I would do if I'm brand new to real estate and you need help on a deal, I would reach out to anybody in my mentorship. They'll bring the deal to me. We'll underwrite it, and they'll help you get those deals done. That's the power of SubTo. So Steven Crawford REI, his name is on the screen. That's his Instagram name. Go DM him right now. Guys, actually, we've got a little over 200 people watching live right now. Everybody throw in the chat, congrats, hell yeah, Steve's the man. Throw all that in the chat. But what I really, really want and would appreciate for you guys is this. Please take a screenshot of this. Go put it on Instagram stories, put it on Facebook, and do @Steven Crawford REI. Congratulations on your first deal. Imagine if this was your first deal, you'd never gotten a deal ever, and you're on the show and you're just needing love and support and all that kind of stuff, and you want to feel like you just got the trophy, right? You just got the trophy. Guys, please tag Cody, myself, and Steven Crawford on Instagram on an Instagram story. We would absolutely love that. And go follow Steven Crawford REI on Instagram. Aren't you going to be doing some documentation of cleaning up the property, getting the tenant filled, all that kind of stuff over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so anybody who's interested in seeing what that takes, I will be making posts on my Instagram about what I'm up to, getting the property ready, that whole process. And also I would like to do some posts on hunting down private money. So anybody who's interested in that, go ahead and follow me. And I'm going to be using things I've learned along the way from people like Oscar and Steve Train to help show people how to do things, you know, how to hunt down private money and where to look and who to talk to, those types of things.
Love it. Steve, thank you so much for tuning in, brother. I really, really appreciate you. I will talk to you soon. Please keep us posted on Instagram. Show us what you're doing with the property. Tell us the trials, the tribulations, the issues, the good things, the bad things. Tell everybody the story of your first deal so that they can be encouraged to go get their first deal done as well.
Great, will do. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, brother. Have a good night. All right, guys. How cool is that?
That's awesome. Super cool. I mean, 0% interest. It's amazing. Doesn't even know really how much wealth it's going to build him over the time of owning that deal.
Dude, think about that. He's going to cash flow. This is what I was telling him. I said, you know, here's what's cool. Don't lease option that house out because he got a private lender that came in, funded the deal, so he doesn't have to worry about any of the entry fee, which is one of the things we teach a lot of as well. But I told him, you just raise the rent $50 every 2 years. Think about in 10 years from now, your rent is going to be $500 more per month than it was today, but your payment to the lender stays the exact same. So over time, he's actually going to cash flow more, even though the payment stays the same. The house is paying down incredibly quick. So number one, his cash flow over the next 20 years while he is paying her off accumulates to about $150,000 in cash flow. Then once the house is paid off, he'll have about $250,000 worth of property paid off completely that he essentially has in his retirement account so that he doesn't have to worry about money. That's one freaking deal. $400,000 plus the tax benefits.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Insane. So let's do something for everybody. Why don't we talk about a recent deal that we have got going on? What's something we've closed escrow on recently? Wholesale or otherwise?
I'm just trying to think which one. On the flip side,
We've got
talk about like Dallas. That one's like already and that's one that Oscar lended on.
Hey guys, shout out Oscar. I don't know if Oscar wants anybody to know this, but he funded Cody and I. He's our funding partner on one of our deals on Dallas. Oscar, how much did Oscar fund us? About 40 grand?
Yeah.
And how much are we making on Dallas?
The gross on that's probably going to be like 70,000, maybe more, 72.
So after we pay back our lenders, we pay back the construction costs, all that kind of stuff, we're going to walk away with about $70,000 before we have to pay our own taxes.
Yep.
So what's cool about that one, and I want to talk about this for a little bit tonight, guys. Who has heard about our giveaway that Cody and I are doing that starts tomorrow? Type yes in the comments if you guys have heard about the giveaway that we're doing coming up. Give me a yes. Give me a yes, 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 yes. If you guys have heard about the giveaway that we are doing starting tomorrow. Okay, Creighton knows about it. Jose says, hey, question, during the time of ownership, does he account for capital reserves for roof repair, AC, and ongoing maintenance? Absolutely. Absolutely. He accounts for about 20%. That's why his gross cash flow is about $500 a month. His net cash flow is about $300 a month. So he attributes about $200 a month towards those types of things. Awesome. So we got a lot of people saying yes, they know about the deal that's happening. So guys, let's talk about that. It's called #FirstDeal. Cody and I are such believers in if you're going to make a change in anybody's life, you have to make it almost undeniably easy for them to take action. And you have to make it so incredibly, the path so easy. So we thought, what's the easiest way to get somebody into the game? What's the easiest way to get somebody into the game? What we're going to do is we are going to give away a partnership on one of our upcoming deals. A partnership. We're giving away a partnership. And my partner, Cody, who's an integrator, is like, wait, what did you just give away? Because this deal on Dallas, if somebody wins the giveaway and they ended up doing the deal with us on Dallas, what would be the amount of money they'd walk away with, Cody?
I mean, $35,000.
Holy shit. $35,000. So guys, here's the giveaway. Go to my Instagram DMs. The contest, actually, the giveaway starts tomorrow, but I'll let you guys kick it off here. I'll tell you the exact instructions how to get going on it. Go to my Instagram DMs, DM my Instagram, and I want you guys to type in the word #FirstDeal. That's it. That gets you an entry into the giveaway. And there's a couple of additional giveaway opportunities. So if you subscribe to our YouTube, you're a member of the Creative Finance Facebook group, there's a couple of different ways you can also enter the giveaway. But we are going to run this for 30 days. On August 17th, we're starting the giveaway. On September 17th, we are announcing the giveaway. And let me rehearse this for you. And I'm going to start, Cody and I are going to kind of structure this. We're going to start talking about it over the next month on Sunday service. We are going to find the deal. We are going to fund the deal. We are going to run the transaction, whether it's a subject to it, whether it's a fix and flip, whatever the transaction ends up being. We are going to list that property at a discounted rate because we've got my beautiful, wonderful wife. And we are going to split the profits with the giveaway winner. Truly split the profits with the giveaway winner with no money out of pocket. Now, people say, oh, do I have to be a SubTo student? No, you don't. We are all about giving back. We are all about educating people through real exact transactions. So Cody and I are going to be doing a weekly partnership meeting with this person that wins the giveaway. And primarily it'll be a Zoom at the project. It'll be a Zoom talking about who's going to fund the deal, transaction, title stuff. As we're going through the process, we are going to be doing a Zoom with this giveaway winner. Every single week, we'll give them an hour to 2 hours. I feel like I'm in house church. That's funny.
No, I meant to click this one.
Here's how it benefits us. Honestly, it's how it benefits us. The way it benefits us is that we continue to talk to you guys and help you guys out. It gives us good content and goodwill with our community and giving back. It helps us also recruit really good people. Here, can I tell you guys a secret? Cody and I were at lunch the other day. Okay, we were at lunch the other day, and we're sitting around. Cody, I'm gonna let you talk because I've been talking all day. What was the conversation we had with our teams about how lucky we are to have this squad? And why don't you touch base on that and let's chat about our team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just I mean, where were we at? Barrio Queen, and we had pretty much like our acquisition guys together, and then we had our disposition and asset manager Jeff there as well, and we were just talking about helping everybody elevate. Obviously, a big part of this giveaway is being able to show someone, you know, what's possible and kind of show through that process, and, you know, just allow someone to really see that this business is real. You know, this business is something that has changed, obviously, mine and Pace's life, blessed us beyond belief. And so, you know, we want to show, you know, show more people that that's possible. And, you know, with our team that we have in place, you know, none of that would be possible without the great people that we actually have, you know, which is what we were kind of talking about at lunch, was just how appreciative we are of, you know, each individual that we have working with us.
So guys, I'm going to tell you the lead into this was what Cody was talking about. Why are we doing this? I can tell you, the more that Cody and I give, the better the people around us become. Would you agree?
Yeah.
We give more. We do ride-alongs. We help people with their first deals. We help them find lenders. We help them do whatever they need to get into the business. In fact, if you come and work for us, we encourage you to go start your own business. Okay, and this isn't maybe something that's a natural human tendency, but if you read the book, The Go-Giver, you read these types of books, you recognize that the more you give, the more you receive. And it sounds like cliche bullshit in a lot of ways. It sounds like a cliche Instagram post that somebody make that's like hype you up type of Instagram post, like, oh, you know, give back to the world and the world will give back to you, blah, 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 blah. Guys, it's real. And I wish I learned in my 20s how real it really was, because it wasn't until I got into my 30s that I focused more on who can I impact, who can I help. Yes, I learned that when I plant that seed, the fruits get born. And that's essentially what it is. We don't know what benefits we're going to get from doing this. We have oh, look who it is. Look who we got on the show.
I saw that. That's why I was smiling.
Guys, can I tell you a story real quick? I'm going to tell you guys a heartwarming story. At least I love this woman. Her name is Rita Hansen. She's on the show. I love her, love her, love her. Rita Hansen calls me. I don't know. It was probably about a year ago. Rita Hansen called me.
It's been a while now.
And she calls me out of the blue. She called me because we saved somebody in her office, we saved their mom from foreclosure, and we made $0 on it. We just saved her from foreclosure, helped her move into another house. And the lady who we helped was like, you don't want any compensation? I said, look, the universe will pay us back in kind. We just wanted to make sure that you got helped. Okay. So no joke, 30 days later, I get a call from this wonderful lady named Rita Hansen. And she says, hey, my name's Rita. I got your name from a colleague of mine at work. She said that you helped her friend or you helped somebody in her family stop foreclosure. And while I'm not in foreclosure, I have a property that I need to sell, and I need to, my financial advisor is telling me to sell this property. So she goes on to tell us this story, and I'm sitting there. If I was a wholesaler, I could have easily convinced Rita to sell her property to us at a discount. But what I really did is I found out what Rita needed in her life. And I said, Rita, you should not sell this property. In fact, you should stay there. And we should figure out how to invest your money, not into just downgrading, but we need to amplify your earning potential. And long story short, about 6 months later, Rita became one of our favorite private lenders. So Rita is one of our private lenders, and that came to us because I truly loved her. I cared about her, even though I had never met her. And so when you guys live by that principle, that's the kind of stuff that comes out. Rita Hansen is one of my private lenders. So when people say, how do you find private lenders? I'm like, the law of reciprocity. The universe has no ability to turn you down when you pour love into other people. It is impossible. The universe cannot turn down your blessings. So that's what's happening in Cody and my life. And the more we give back, the more we receive. So you look at Tino, you look at Nick, you look at Cameron, you look at Jeff, you look at Anna, you look at everybody on our team, Rochelle, our bookkeeper, dude. Like, we are sitting here talking about how amazing our team is every single day. And when we look around and say, how do we do this? How do we do this? Guys, I promise you it has a lot to do with how much we give back. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We are doing a giveaway called #FirstDeal. So guys, if you don't mind, you want to be in part of this, Thank you, Rita. She says, yes, yes, yes. These guys rock. So trustworthy. Love you and appreciate you so much, Rita.
Thank you.
Is she funding a deal for us right now?
Yeah, she's in a deal with us right now. I know when we're in a deal with Rita and when we're not, because she'll email and say, I have money. Where's the next deal? When's the next deal? So I always appreciate those. She's always so sweet in the emails, and always so excited to work with her. So it's it's awesome, super great, and it's just a win-win. I love seeing that we're able to help her make some money on her money. And, for us, obviously being able to utilize that for the different projects that we're doing, it's great.
Yeah, guys. So do me a favor. We're going to talk about this giveaway. You're actually going to see us advertise for it. I'm actually going to put some money behind an Instagram ad just to talk about how cool this is, because I think it's a learning opportunity for a lot of people. What we're going to do is we're going to buy a house with creative finance. We did a deal. What was that deal? The one we did we closed on it maybe 30 days ago. It was a $62,000 fix and flip that we bought subject to and fix and flipped it. What was it? I know we did 32nd.
Bloomfield.
Oh yeah, it was Bloomfield.
Yeah.
Bloomfield was the one where the sellers broke back into the house and smashed the tile.
Yeah.
Got it. So we made $62,000 on that fix and flip, and if somebody won that giveaway, they would have watched how the paperwork works on a subject to acquisition. They would have watched and been part of partnership conversations along the way, what that looks like, how Cody and I communicate with each other behind closed doors. You would probably even understand what this hieroglyphics means, because this was a private meeting Cody and I had the other day. So they would have made, if you were our partner on that deal, you would have made $31,000 with literally doing nothing but one thing. You need to learn and you need to participate in the Zoom calls on the partnership. So guys, if you won the giveaway, your only requirement and your only responsibility is to show up for the Zoom calls on a weekly basis. It'll just be us, Cody and myself. And then depending on what part of the process we're in, it might be our construction manager, it might be our lender, it might be our title company. But we would require you to show up to these weekly Zoom calls to get an education of the process along the way. Yes, I think the project is really cool, and I think your ability to make a good amount of money on a partnership with us is dope. But I think the best part about it is that you're going to learn step by step by step. Paperwork, soup to nuts, everything about how we run our business behind closed doors by being an actual partner with us on the deal. So guys, let's jump into some questions about creative finance. I know we've got a whole bunch. I'm sitting over here talking about, hey, Dave Concepcion. Last time I saw Dave, that was probably 6 weeks ago in the Mace office. Dave, we moved out of that Mace office recently. We moved into a new Tempe office that Cody and I just finished renovating. Pierre said he doesn't necessarily need the giveaway. I'm willing to pay for the mentorship. I want to put the work in. All right, man, no problem. Let's see. Ryan says, oh, check it out. Cameron, by the way, Cameron just got a deal. Cameron's on our team, guys. He's one of our junior acquisition guys. I'm hoping Cameron continues to work on his skills and keeps crushing it like he has been, so we can have him open up an entire territory. He's currently, which market is he currently calling on right now, Cody?
Arizona.
Awesome. So he's calling on Arizona. He's working underneath Tino. Cameron, we're hoping that you accelerate at the same rate you are, and very shortly we can have you open up a Dallas market or an Atlanta market, one of those two. We appreciate you being on the team. We're very, very lucky to have you guys. Okay. Don Plain, man, Don, honestly, what do you think about this giveaway? People are giving away iPads and iPhones, and somebody was telling me, I was like, I'm going to give away a MacBook Pro. I was like, oh, that's cute. Cody and I are going to give away a partnership on one of our creative finance.
We're like 10, 20 grand.
I honestly think a partnership with you and I, understanding how this project works, and then being part of multiple Zoom calls, as a partner, not as just some random person, but we'll actually discuss with them, have conversations. You'll hear how decisions are made and all that kind of stuff. I think that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in terms of value, education, etc. Right? Ooh. Let's see. Any strategies for building private lenders? Yeah. I think, yeah, Don Plain says it's unheard of, to be honest. Thank you, Don. I really appreciate that. Brandon Jackson, any strategies of building private lenders? Yes, I have so many strategies. Here's my suggestion. I'm going to give you a book to read. And it's where you should start. It's where you should start on raising private capital. And then in my mentorship, I teach you guys, this is a good book, like as a foundation. The challenge with this book is that it takes about, I'd say 6 weeks to or 6 chapters to like truly get into the meat and potatoes of the deal.
You're like the audiobook version?
Yeah, I did the audiobook version. It was good. It was really, really good. I've probably listened to this 3 or 4 times. I think it is absolutely a treasure, but we teach a lot about raising private capital in my mentorship, the way that we actually raise private capital. I think Cody and I, between all of our houses, everything that we're doing, have a few $1 million of private lender money. And we turn down private lenders constantly. In fact, when one of my students says, hey, I've got a deal, I need to fund it, I typically go back to my lenders that we've turned money down for. We have a lot of people that reach out to us. So let's see here. It doesn't want me to share a link, unfortunately, on Facebook. So I'll put it on the deal. Go to Amazon and just type in Raising Private Capital. It's actually a Bigger Pockets written book. Very, very, very good book. I would read it. Almost skip to chapter 6. Everything else is just trash. It's a very, very good book. Raising Private Capital. It's on the screen. But then I probably use 2 or 3 strategies in that book. The other about 10 or 15 things that we do are completely outside that book. You know, I like Chris Noggle, but Chris Noggle's not the guy that runs our infinite banking. Chris Noggle's a nice guy. I've seen him at speaking events. I really like him, but Cody and I are hiring somebody completely different for all of our infinite banking. So we'll bring him on when we're completely all the way set up with that. Okay. Let's see. Any strategy. There we go. E2REI says, are the jorts required for working acquisition? Does Cameron wear jorts?
I don't know. I think Tino does. I think Tino.
Oh, Tino! You're right. Tino does wear jorts, bro. What's up with that? We need to get him cranking on some better style. Yeah, Terrence Lee says basically getting paid to learn on that giveaway. Yeah, that's it. This is what Cody and I thought about. We thought, what would be the coolest giveaway ever? Like, nobody could beat us on a giveaway unless you literally gave money to somebody at $20,000, $30,000. What would be a better giveaway than what we're doing? Can you guys name one? Name a better giveaway. Okay. So guys, if you're just tuning in, go to my Instagram, type in into my DMs, #first deal. It needs to be one word. It will not trigger the giveaway unless it's all one word. #first deal. Don't go in there and type first deal. It won't work. And even though I said that, people will still go in there and not type in #first deal. Okay. Steve says I have a seller who may be willing to seller finance, but has $35,000 in back taxes and liens. What should I do? Cody, I'm going to let you talk for a minute about some of the deals that we did and how we did it, raising whatever the strategy was. Let's jump into that.
Yeah. So in regards to this question, 35K in back taxes and liens, what should I do? I mean, you got to look at the whole picture. You're just giving a piece of the puzzle here with just that information. That's part of what the entry fee may be. So my first gut reaction is, okay, is it 35,000 in back taxes and liens, plus then you have to give cash to the seller, plus the property needs renovation. You know, you're talking about a, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 entry fee to get into the deal. So really you have to get those caught up. So that's what you have to look at is, okay, how much could that deal rent for? If you're going to rent it, you want to start with the end in mind when you're underwriting that deal, Steve. So look at what you could do with that deal, whether it could be a rental, whether it could be an Airbnb, whether you could wrap the deal and then run the numbers backwards. Okay, it can't be a rental, not a good deal. Maybe you can wrap it. Maybe that's the way to go with it. So, or maybe it's just too high of an entry fee, because $35,000 in back taxes and liens, that's pretty high. Like our average entry fee is $25,000 or less on our creative deals. So, that would be my first gut reaction without seeing all the details.
Yeah, I like that. So, Steve, here's a couple of questions I have for you. Seller may be willing to seller finance as $35,000 back taxes. Steve, have you reached out to any of my creative finance students? Because these guys are trained to understand how to overcome that. It's not overcoming it. It's, there was a point last year, it was like October, November, December. Cody and I were like buying like 15 rental properties every single month. And the majority of those houses, what was our entry fee average on those? Like 35 grand?
Too high. Yeah, like 35, 40.
You're right. So we were raising a bunch of capital, and basically what we did is we had a lot of houses. In fact, the house on Walnut, how much money did we put into Walnut?
$70,000.
So we raised $70,000 to buy that house subject to. It was a brand new, gorgeous home. We raised private capital. So as long as it cash flows after the private capital, the amount of money it takes to catch up stuff does not scare us at all. So I know a couple of my students, like Tristan's got a deal in Glendale right now with a $15,000 arrears. You just raise private capital, or you go get a wrap buyer to cover your cost. I don't know. I mean, all our lease options have been super easy. Our rentals have been super easy. The wraps are super interesting because a lot of times you end up getting the real estate agents involved. And no offense to real estate agents, I make babies with a real estate agent, but man, real estate agents just know. It's almost like when you show up to real estate school, what you do is day one, they go, all right, guys, welcome to real estate school. We're going to get your real estate license going. Day one, what we're going to learn is how to blow up each other's deals. Okay. We're going to focus on how to blow up each other's deals and hate each other as real estate agents. That's like day one.
Day two is, if anyone is doing anything besides traditional real estate, illegal.
Illegal. It's my broker says this is illegal. I had this, I posted something like 2 weeks ago. Steve Lay with the very specific questions here. I love it. How would that look with a wrap with that large of an entry fee? A wrap typically is going to bring you anywhere between 10 to 12% on a down payment. So if it's a $200,000 house, you're probably going to get about $25,000 down. If you have a $300,000 house, you probably get $35,000, $40,000 as a down payment from a wrap buyer. It's basically that simple. Cameron Tate, who's a junior acquisition team on our side, said, I got stumped last week. A seller who makes $1.2 million a year says, I would love to sell my house to you SubTo, but I want to buy an oceanfront house and I can't because I have too many houses financed under my name. I tried explaining his DTI will be reduced if he bought a few of those houses SubTo, but he said it's a no. It's not about DTI, and that was the end of the conversation. And so, Cameron, what you need to do is on Tuesday on our sales call is you need to get me on the phone with that seller. That's the whole point of why you're on my team. I can easily overcome that with that seller. Ryan Zwennerman, laws, broker fee, office fee. Now you're a real estate agent. I love it. And it's funny is real estate agents are so pompous and they feel like they're the end all be all in real estate.
Oh my God.
It's why Open Door, OfferPad, and these big companies are coming in and trying to change the industry, is because real estate agents are so stuck in their ways. There needs to be a massive change in the industry. Leanna, awesome lady. She's a Canadian, by the way, guys. So if you're going to plan on buying her a birthday gift, make sure you buy her some French fries covered in gravy, which is also called poutine. I have a possible deal that's behind 12 grand, not a problem. Total mortgage balance is $400K, wants $20K to move, could rent for 2,000 plus converted to a top half to Airbnb, which blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's a deal as someone would have to come in with, okay, Leanna, there's been times in our acquisition strategy where our average cost to get into a deal is $35,000. That's our average cost. Now, Cody, how much of our money have we ever invested in these deals? Answer zero, but we're always raising private capital or utilizing somebody else's money to do these deals. That sounds to me, where's her PITI? I don't see the PITI. So I don't know how much it will cash flow, but it sounds to me on a $400,000 house, you could cash flow $3,800. You could bring in $3,800. There's no way your mortgage is anywhere near that. So I would need to know what your actual mortgage payment is, so we could tell you if that's a deal or not. We fund deals like this all the time. Cody and I funded a deal of $30,000 on a seller finance deal. Just when's that one closing? This week?
Yeah, this week.
Okay, so 2,100 PITI brings in $3,800
with the Airbnb being the upstairs. So that sounds like a promising deal.
What state is that in? Because Leanna does deals in multiple states. So I would say the answer is absolutely, absolutely. Daryl, can we have a sheet made up of typical problems and solutions for those issues as some sort of blueprint? That has been created. It's been floating about the Facebook group for a long, long time.
I wanted to grab this one. Right. This is a good one. Wanda is asking, what apps do we need before hiring a VA if we haven't purchased a CRM or dialer yet? So the easiest free way to do that, Wanda, literally you can use Excel. I mean, that's like the archaic way. You could start just using Excel, or you can create a Google form. So Google Forms are free, so you can use Google Forms or Excel sheets, and you can create and put leads in there. It's the worst possible way to manage your leads, but it's at least somewhere for you to put them until you get a CRM set up. But I would get a CRM set up as quickly as possible from there.
I'm going to give you guys a very shameless plug. First and foremost, when we hire VAs, we always use vahub.com. VA Hub is who we use. We also are investors in the business, so we obviously have a vested interest in making sure that they're super successful. But we hit a pretty big milestone at VA Hub. We hit a certain amount of VAs and growth, and it's unbelievable how many testimonials we have over at VA Hub. So go check out VA Hub if you're looking to hire a VA. Number two, bombcrm.com is who we use for our CRM. bombcrm.com is who we use for our CRM. Creighton, again, thank you, brother. I really appreciate you taking care of my wife today. And I just shot you a text, by the way. Can we listen in on your sales call on Tuesday? Yeah. Creighton, I know you've been busy, and I know you got things going on in your world. You've got your rentals over in Spokane and all that kind of stuff. So I know you're busy. We did a sales call with Tino, Nick, Cameron, and the whole team 2 weeks ago, where I ran the sales meeting and let all the SubTo students hear how I run my sales meeting with my team. I will do that again this week if you really want. I'd love to do that. And Cameron, who's on Cameron's my junior acquisition guy. Cameron, get me on the phone with that guy that makes $1.2 million a year, please. First and foremost, that guy needs to be our private lender. Okay.
I was going to say, Terrence, you have a deal. If you don't have any buyers in hand, Keegley is a great resource to go to when you have a deal to sell. We are also buying in Tampa. We're buying in Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, Orange County. So Orlando, Tampa, St. Petersburg, some of those areas. So I actually posted our dispo guy, Jeff, his work phone number, not his personal cell, finally. So if you guys have deals, Terrence, reach out to Jeff. Send over the details to Jeff. He can take a look at that and see if it's something that we could buy from you.
Hey guys, Cody and I are really expanding our business. So we are starting to do more fix and flips in Orlando and Tampa area. I personally am going to go live in Florida for a month just to help set up some operations and some systems over there as far as construction goes. So please let us know if you guys have deals in Orlando or Tampa that we can buy. Wendy Gray says, tell me more about this first deal. Cody, fill her in on hashtag first deal.
Wendy, we are doing a giveaway. Basically, the whole giveaway is going to be whoever wins the giveaway actually is going to be able to be a part of a flip with us. You're going to invest $0. You're going to invest zero management. You aren't going to have to do anything besides basically learn as much as you want through the process and then be able to get paid half of the profit on the back end. So you can be a part of watching our team do the renovation, manage the way that we pay our private lenders, see us how we list, once we list the property, all the way to close of escrow and to you actually getting a check. That is the first deal giveaway.
So the way you enter into the giveaway is you go to my Instagram and you type in hashtag first deal, all one word. Don't do 2 words, please. Somebody will do it. In fact, somebody will actually type in hashtag, the word hashtag. It's amazing. The things I thought I was going to learn when I started, doing these lives it's very different than what I have learned. One thing I have learned, it's really hard for people to follow instructions. And number 2, you have to say the same thing about 25 times, because the people that tune in 20 minutes into the show and then people that tune in an hour into the show are not the people that started tuning in at the very beginning of the show. Right now, we have over 200 live people watching between YouTube and Facebook. So we have a decent amount of people watching. So that means that people are tuning in, tuning out, which is not a problem, but I have to say the same thing so many times. Anyway, so hashtag first deal is the name of that. So Pace, you are the most giving dude I know. That's Cody and Pace. I'm not in your mentorship, but I've learned so much from all your YouTube videos alone for free. Thank you so much. Here's what I learned with Gary Vaynerchuk. And this is why Cody and I give away so much. Gary Vaynerchuk said, talk about everything you know, teach everybody everything you know for free, and then have people pay you for access to you and, maybe like a behind the scenes in your business. So I teach a lot. Cody and I teach a lot for free. You can build an entire business on what you learned from us for free, just on YouTube and all these streams that we do. However, you see a lot more behind the scenes stuff. Guys, if anybody's in my mentorship that actually listened to me call sellers for 2 hours today, oh my gosh, I probably haven't had that much fun calling sellers in 3 or 4 months. So if you guys if any of the gals, because we ran an all girls accountability group this morning or today at noon, if any of the girls were on that call today and are currently watching this live, give me a shout out in the comments. Tell me how awesome that was. Leanna, I still want to be Cody's apprentice. Cody, you and I had a conversation the other night in Jamil's pool, and I told you need to start talking a little bit more about how good you are at systems. I think the problem with people that are in systems is that you're not as flashy and showboaty as people that are the visionaries. You need to be talking about it more, right? Let's talk about some of the things that you're working on inside of our businesses, challenges. Let's jump into some Cody stuff right now. I'm actually going to take myself off the screen so you guys don't have to see my stupid face anymore.
Yeah, as far as some of the challenges that we have, there's challenges at every level. Everyone always thinks, when you're starting in the business, once I get to this, then everything's going to be great. And then it's you get there and you're like, all right, once this happens, then it's going to be perfect. So you constantly put yourself in the position where you're like, okay, once I get here, but it's understanding that there's always going to be room for growth, and there's always going to be additional changes that you have to make in the business. So and just talking about a few of the things that we're working on. So like many of you may know, one of the things that's put a lot of work back on my plate, which I already have a pretty full plate of work to do on a day-to-day basis, is our, one of our main VAs that's been with us for 2 years passed away a few weeks ago, and he was doing a lot. Like he was pulling lists. He was skip tracing those lists. He was organizing those, putting them into text campaigns, organizing those, putting them into the dialer, getting us phone numbers on our dialing system, recycling our phone lists, like doing so many different things for our actual marketing efforts as a company. He, obviously where he's not there, business still has to go on. So that's, one of the things that's got thrown back on my plate that I've been having to do now again. And so what I've been doing is, slowly over the last couple of weeks, I've been making, more videos, for the systems to teach another VA that's already been working with us, moving him to be able to help start taking some of that off my plate. But I would say, my primary job is looking at our business and finding inefficiencies and then helping streamline those inefficiencies to be better. One of the other things that we're focusing on right now as well is, buying more fix and flips. And, there's these little things, it's all the little things that people don't think about. And so like, one of the things with, with our flips is, we have a process of when we release the checks to our crews. So it's, it's this constant, it's a constant, back and forth of,
oh my gosh, how frustrated was I about that on Saturday, dude?
Yeah. It's like, dude, having, random, hey, we need, $11,000 today in checks written.
Oh yeah, dude. You and I, so Cody and I were in here writing all these hieroglyphics and shit, all on this whiteboard. And then Cody gets a text message from one of our project managers and says, hey, the guys want to get paid. And it was like $11,000. And Cody's like, hey, I need to go down to Chase to go get some cashiers made. I'm like, for what? Bro, we're in the middle of painting, or we're in the middle of doing hieroglyphics, dude. You're not allowed to leave, dog. What are you doing? And he's like, well, our guys need to get paid right now. I'm like, bro, this is why we have a bookkeeper. This is why we have this. Going forward, if our guys do not request money by Tuesday night, they do not get paid the following weekend. That's all there is to it. We're not doing these last minute check requests anymore. So I told Cody, I go, don't worry about it. I'll just write the checks out of my personal account so you don't have to go down, because our time is so valuable. I'm only here from Seattle. I go home tomorrow. All right, I'm sorry. I'm home, but my wife is my home. And so I'm going home to my wife and my kids, and they're in Seattle right now. So I'm going back up to them, and I'm sitting here thinking, Cody and I only have so much time together before I got to get back. And Cody's going to go down to Chase because our project manager didn't think about getting the checks earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are, these are some of the things that come up that are just these little weird things that, that happen. And so, some of the other things that we've been working on, as well as obviously the roadmap rei.com. So, updating that in the systems there. And then also doing some research on, other markets that we want to go into, so we're looking at, like Pace was saying, we're looking at going into either Texas or Georgia, specifically Atlanta, Georgia, and then Dallas or Houston, Texas. And so we're looking at these markets to potentially open up. So that's something that we're doing. We're, networking with some people in those areas. And on top of that, our goal is to be buying a lot more rentals through the end of this year. Interest rates are super low. So, it's a really great time for that. So that's also another just aspect of the business. I mean, the stuff that I'm doing, typically, it's not like the super exciting stuff like Pace was saying. It's, I'm working on creating an organization chart for our fix and flip. So that each person knows, specifically in the organization chart, what their specific tasks are in their role. So like those are the things that are happening, because obviously like you have your business is never going to actually be a true business until you put those systems and those processes in place. So, one of the things that we use is trainual.com to document those systems and processes. So like whenever there's that role that we're, whenever there's a role that we need to fulfill, we can bring people through those trainings. So why did you pick Tampa and Orlando? What are the metrics you use? So basically, some of the main things that we look at. Oh, there we go. Some of the main things that we're looking at when we're looking for these other markets is, one is Keighley there. That's one of our biggest indicators, really, is seeing, where's Keighley at, because they're one of the best disposition companies. And they're probably the best disposition company in the entire United States. So,
Cody, why would that be a good indicator? Just because Keighley's there, what does that signify? Like, what does that show me?
So what that says is there are houses to sell and there are buyers buying houses. So, in these major markets, that's where we want to be at. We want to be in major markets. So areas where there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of people buying to flip, because that means there's a lot of deals to be sold in those areas. Obviously, a major company like Keighley wouldn't be entering into those markets otherwise. Some people's niches are they like going into small towns because they can, get some good deals. They're less competitive. We're used to being in Phoenix, which is, I think from everyone I've spoken with, the most competitive market in the United States for wholesaling properties. So when it comes to that, that's what we liked about Tampa and Orlando. Is there's a lot of buyers that are buying right now, and so that's something that really we look at, because if we can go lock up deals all day long, what's the point of locking them up if we can't sell those deals? And it's low inventory there as well. So it just has a lot of similar tendencies to how Phoenix is right now, minus as much competition. A lot of my friends that are there in that market, they say there is a lot of competition, but it's nothing compared to Phoenix.
Here's my feeling about competition. I want competition.
Yeah.
I want so much competition, it's overwhelming, because I wouldn't say all of the money, but a big portion of the money that Cody and I make on a yearly basis, especially last year with our SubTo deals, came from our competitors.
Yeah.
Our competitors are our collaborators, and we do deals together. I mean, we want competition. It just tells you that we are going to learn new things about the market. Cody, how cool was it the other day? You and I go over to Jerry Norton's house. Who are some of the names that were there in this mastermind you and I are part of? And how cool is it that literally every one of those guys are our competitors?
Yeah, I mean, you have Steve Trang there. You have, Jesse, Annie, Evo there. You have Brent Daniels there. You have Jamil there. I mean, there's just so many, all the names that most of the people on here would recognize that were in the room. And, it creates so much more opportunity. I mean, everyone in that room, I mean, we've sold deals to Jesse, Annie, and Evo. We've sold deals to Jamil. We've bought deals from Brent Daniels. We've done deals with so many of these people. So that's the thing that people have to look at, is like, stop thinking about it so much as competition either, because you can collaborate. It's like like you talk about, it's like trading Pokemon cards. It's like, this one isn't a good fit for me. We'll trade that. And so that's a lot of times, like, we just sold a deal to Brent Daniels literally like 10 days ago. It's a lot that Tino locked up. We sold it to Jeremy on his team for them to buy.
Yeah, we bought one of our best SubTo deals of the year from Brent Daniels this year, just recently.
Here too, yeah. So
we're going to make a couple $100,000 on that one SubTo deal that we sold we're selling on a wrap. Yeah,
our contract, I think our buyer's going to be making a payment of $1,100 a month, and our payment's going to be about $325. Our payment PITI is $325.
Yeah. So what we think is, like, our market's going crazy too. We're buying deals all the time. We're doing fix and flips. We look at competition as more friends to hang out with. That's it. We don't have anybody we feel like we have to compete with. We have the ability to call and text people in our local market. We're constantly doing real estate meetups where everybody's included and everybody's invited. It's a feeling of brotherly love, sisterly love. It's just more fun that way. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're literally just hanging out with our buddies all day long.
Yeah, 100%.
And so when people are like, oh, my market is competitive. Dude, go make friends with those people, or go squat up. Look at my SubTo family. Look at the SubTo students, how powerful of a community we are, because we've squatted up. We don't look at each other as competition. We look at each other as family, right? It's one of my favorite parts of not being a contractor anymore, because in construction, it's like you're all trying to slit each other's throat and undercut each other's prices. And wholesale, we can trade deals with each other. It's like, oh, you're looking to fix and flip? All right, great. You'll be one of my buyers. Oh, you're looking to do SubTo deals? So when I get a tight deal, I can send it over to you and you can teach me something. Whatever it is, you guys need to be looking at your competition as potential best friends. Let me ask you a question. I don't have one friend. Not one. I have zero friends that I socialize with I have zero that are outside of real estate. Zero. The people who used to be my friends that I hung out with, they have now become acquaintances. So I look at it like, oh my gosh, competition. I get more friends, right? That's how Cody and I look at this, is like, we need to go hang out with that guy because he's doing something really, really well. Yeah. Evo, that rat bastard who I love so much, before Cody Barton and I were really, really good partners, Evo and I were constantly competing on deals back and forth. The seller would say, oh, I'm talking to some guy named Evo. I go, great, go forward with him. He's an amazing guy. If it doesn't work out for whatever reason, I'm here. And then fast forward 6 months later, Cody and I had a massive issue in our business. And what did we do, Cody?
Called Evo.
Right.
and then I'll help you.
Right. He probably made us so much money just from that one little change. Epic.
Oh yeah. I mean, he just constantly helps with, so many things. I mean, that's the whole concept of Squad Up. And, it comes back to that go-giver mentality of, continuously, serving and giving to those around you.
Yes. Pierre says, we are wholesale heavy in Dallas. Most investors are afraid of SubTo here. Tons of room for creative financing. I agree. Dallas is an amazing market. I would say in 2017, 18, and 19, I spent almost every month I was there for a weekend. I love Dallas. It's an amazing spot. You're very lucky that you're in that market. Is it competitive? Yeah, it's highly competitive. I mean, you've got Homevestors franchise, which I used to be a franchise owner of Homevestors. That's their headquarters. I used to go to Dallas every single month to spend time at the corporate headquarters for Homevestors. So if you're in Dallas, you're competing against Homevestors corporate. Like, you're in their backyard. So are you doing deals? Are you getting deals done? Yes, you are. And here's the cool thing about Homevestors. One of the main reasons I left Homevestors is because they don't like creative finance deals. And so your competition doesn't always focus on your niche. So find your niche and go crank on it. And Piers, I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that through you to everybody else in the group. Just pay attention to what your competitors are not doing, and then go and add value to them and say, hey, I can do this for you. I can do that for you, or whatever, and become buddies, right? Diane says, I'm new to this, getting ready to hit Austin. Anyone doing deals here? Anybody in my mentorship that's in either Houston, Dallas, or Austin, reach out to Diane, see if she needs some help getting launched. Diane, we're always happy to help. Always come into Wholesale Hotline is tomorrow night at 5. Diane, here's news to everybody. The entire country has low inventory. It's not an Austin thing. Cody, that deal on Friday, tell us about how fast we sold that deal.
I mean, it was like 4 hours. Like we listed it. We were thinking when we first bought it, we were going to be able to list it at like 240, maybe 245, 250. I thought was a little aggressive. And by the time we went to list it, there were comps at like 255, 260. So we listed it at 270 and it sold in freaking 4 hours over asking. I mean, it's insane.
Hey, Diane, reach out to Alec Hawthorne. He's one of my favorite people. He's a lovely human being. Reach out to him. He's super big supporter, been around the block a lot with us and knows how we roll. And he's definitely a go-giver as well. So reach out to him. Oh my gosh. Anyone in the mentorship in Atlanta? Are you kidding, Gabriel? Like, our Atlanta squad and SubTo is unbelievable. Men, women. We have an accountability group led by Eddie Charger in Atlanta, and Eddie Charger is amazing. Our whole group there is amazing. So, Gabriel, absolutely reach out to Eddie Charger or anybody in my mentorship out there in Atlanta. They can help you out. All right, so Cody, let's jump into a couple of things. We've been going for an hour and 34 minutes, which is usually about half as long as we usually go. So let's go about 45 more minutes. Let's chat through what are some big things that we're doing. Like, what are some lists that you've pulled recently in Tampa and Orlando? What's working in our wholesale business? What's working in our creative finance business? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So as far as lists go, one of the lists that we've been doing really well with lately has been the elderly list, specifically doing 65 plus on that list, high equity, and then people that have owned the properties for, extended period of time. So like 7 years or longer. So as far as once we get into a little bit bigger list, that's what we're pulling, and, our cold callers, because obviously where we have, 10 cold callers, we have a lot of records that we need to be constantly feeding them. So that is a list that we've been doing, extremely well with. That's where the last few deals that we've actually picked up. We've actually also, a couple of the things that I think are super important is, understanding like the two forms of marketing that we're doing is cold calling and texting. So, when it comes to cold calling and texting, we have a marketing channel. We're texting. Those deals typically will turn into deals a little bit faster than the cold call deals will. Cold call sometimes could take 30, 60, 90, 120 days for those leads today to turn into a contract. They have a little bit more time that they need to be kind of nurtured. So as we're adding more cold callers, our pipeline has been continuing to grow with that. One of the things that we've implemented a lot more, Pace, is I'm doing a lot more hands-on stuff with our cold call team. Like, we have all the VAs with VA Hub, and we have our client success manager, and so they're doing like the end of day reporting and doing all of those things. But there's some little changes that I've been wanting to do, or some sales strategies that I want to be able to bring to the cold callers when they're making their calls. And so what I've actually started doing, which, anyone on this call, if you have a virtual assistant, or you have, whether it's a virtual assistant or just somebody else that's calling for you, a few things that I've added in on a weekly basis that are happening. So what I have is every week we have like a professional development day where I spend about an hour on a call with all of the VAs, and we go over just a couple specific niches within the real estate that they're going to be having conversations about. So it'll be like, hey guys, we're talking about pre-foreclosures today. And this is the type of individual that you're actually talking to when you're talking to a pre-foreclosure. They're in financial pain. These are all of the different solutions that they could possibly have for us to be able to actually help them. This is, the reason why, these could be good deals for us is because we could buy on creative terms. We could buy them wholesale. So the reason that I'm doing this is so that we can actually help train and take our cold calling team to a higher level, because they already are trained on cold calling. Like, the VA Hub team does a great job at training them to cold call. But what I'm doing is taking it to the next level as far as like professional development based on how our company runs. Not every company is buying, creative finance deals. Not every company is doing the same things we're doing. So what I've been doing is spending, an hour a week doing that. And then I have, my one-on-one meeting with our client success manager, our virtual assistant success manager. And we're doing a review. Hey, how many leads did we get last week? Okay, out of those leads that we got, how many of those, actually turned into a deal last week, or nurtures? What were the things that were going well? What were the biggest challenges? Where are we not, reaching our expectation? What adjustments? What agents need coaching? And those are the types of things that we're doing, that we've started to see a lot more results with our team. Just getting them, getting the professional development up, just like anyone else, just like me and you, Pace, where we have to continuously, sharpen the sword and continue to get better. So those are a few of the things that, we've been working on to just kind of get better, just because kind of where our business is now, it's, we're getting deals on a month-to-month basis, but it's now about getting more refined and getting better quality, getting, more out of what we're spending, getting more out of our team that we have in place now. It's just getting them better.
Right. So guys, a couple questions. Do you have any people in the DMV area? Absolutely. I've got Sabina. We've got probably one of the best accountability groups inside of SubTo.com mentorship. We created accountability groups in each individual area, and there's a leader head of those accountability groups. They meet every week. I come in and call their sellers. We come in and do bonuses. I think last week, Cody and I delivered about $4,000 of extra seller lists and cash buyer lists to all these accountability groups, just to help people out and move the needle forward and change people's lives. Tons of people in Utah. I will personally be in Utah, I think, in about 3 weeks. For anybody that has not been following me on Instagram, I am traveling the country right now. My wife is currently in Seattle. We went on a 7-week trip. We're on a 12-week trip. We're about 7 of those weeks all the way through. And I will be coming back down through Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, Montana, Utah, New Mexico, and then back down through Arizona. And then come back home for a little bit. Cody and I have a big event that we're running in November, probably second week in November. And then once that's over, I am driving out through Texas, and I'm driving out through Florida. I'm probably going to live in Florida for like the next probably Christmas, all the way through Christmas. Eduardo Osario, Cody, when am I going to be in California?
Not for a long time.
Never again. I was in California for a month. I just barely left California about 2 weeks ago. I started in San Diego, went up through LA, Malibu, went to San Francisco, Bakersfield, Fresno, went to Stockton, went to Sacramento, Lake Tahoe. I was in California for an entire month. I just left California about 2.5 weeks ago. And then I spent 2 weeks in, here we go. Melody says, I'm in Oregon. Well, Melody, I wish you found out about me earlier because I was in Oregon for the last 10 days. I went to Bend, Oregon, Roseburg, Oregon, Portland, Oregon. I was there. And then I drove the entire Oregon coast, hung out with a bunch of students, spent a bunch of time in Roseburg with Trevor Mouch from Carrot.com. Allison, I'm so sorry. Cody didn't make it to San Diego, but I was in San Diego for about 10 days. And then Cody and I linked up in Malibu. We hung out there for about a week. Frankie Lloyd says, would love to link when you're in Florida. I'll be living in Florida in my Airstream for about a month. So we definitely will probably be doing a couple of meetups there. Austin Armstrong, when will you be in Denver? I will be in Denver. Guys, go to the Creative Finance Facebook group, go to the announcement section, and you'll see my schedule. It's in the announcement section, or type in Airstream or something. It'll pull up my schedule. I will be in Denver in about 3 weeks. Nice to see you guys help the little guys. Guys, we were little guys too. We were little guys at one point too. It's super easy to forget how little we were, right? I will be in Texas basically all of November. Come back to San Francisco. Never again. Just kidding. Guys, I really don't like California. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why anybody lives in California. It's so beautiful, but like, it also is just so restrictive. It's so crowded. I've been to California probably 300-400 times in my life, and every time I get older, I just say, I'm done. Chris Derbyshire, I was just in Vegas. Cody and I just bought an Airbnb in Vegas. I was in Vegas. Go to my YouTube channel. You'll see a real deal. I was in Vegas 7 weeks ago, and we bought a deal there. Rudy says, boo, but Rudy knows it's true. Rudy's one of our SubTo students. Rudy knows it's true. Rudy lives in a great area. He lives in Fresno. I'm just saying, like, San Diego, LA, San Francisco, and basically all the towns in between just are not great. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to get a rise out of you. California is amazing. It's just really hard during COVID because everything's locked down. It was really challenging. I really do love California. I'm just joking. Move from Cali to Texas. Smart move. Is this Joe Rogan? I don't know who this is, but this must be Joe Rogan if it's Facebook user. Yeah, California is an amazing place. It's just really challenging to be there. Can't wait till you come to Canada. We need you to talk nonprofits, Pace. Liana, what do you want me to talk about on nonprofits? Let's get into that. That'd be great. All right, guys. So here's what we're going to do. Next week, we're going to bring on DJ Martin, one of very cool people. He's somebody we taught how to do novation agreements, and he's making, as you guys saw earlier in the podcast, he's making $80,000 on a novation agreement. And I don't know when he's closing escrow, but he definitely is going to make a bunch of money off of a free text campaign from Batch Leads. So guys, if you're not texting, I'll give you guys our code. We're friends with Batch Leads, so we get hookups and discounts. If you guys are using a dialer, use Batch Dialer, use code PACE. If you're using skip tracing, use code PACE, you'll get a discount. And if you're texting, use batchleads.io/PACE as well, and you'll get 500 free text messages. And what was the other thing they get with that, Cody?
They actually get half off for their first month on their list.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Also, guys, let's go through a couple things. Does everybody feel like they're getting some help here? Does everybody feel like either A, they're feeling motivated, B, they learned something today, C, they're networking with other people in the chat? What is it that you guys are getting out of the show today? Give me a message on the side here. Give me some comments. We've got just under 200 people watching between Facebook and YouTube. Give me some comments. What have you guys learned today? What have you really liked about this? Because Cody and I are going to start amplifying our frequency of Sunday service. Joe Rogan asks, when are you going to be in Milwaukee? I will be in Milwaukee probably spring of next year because I do not want to be anywhere cold at all.
Oh, that's awesome. First time here. Don's first time here.
Oh, wow, Don. That's freaking awesome.
Welcome.
We've been doing Sunday service for about the past year and a half or so. So tell me, Don, what are you looking to do? What are you looking to learn? How can we help you? Oh my gosh. Cody, what kind of shows do you do in the Creative Finance Facebook page every single day of every single week? What kind of conversation? I'm going to let you talk about this for just a second, okay?
Yeah, no, we talk about marketing. We talk about marketing and systems. So literally every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Arizona time, I go live talking about marketing and systems and literally just answer questions for 30, 45 minutes every week. So literally every single Wednesday, 9 a.m. Arizona time, we're talking marketing and systems. Some of the Wednesdays will have a topic specifically on maybe a list that we just pulled that's performing really well, or something that we just implemented that we're seeing is going well in our business, and then answer and help troubleshoot, different people's issues or problems that they're having in their business, and from where they're at to where they want to go. So that's something that we do every week. So if you aren't in the creative financing with Pace and Morby Facebook group, you guys got to join the Facebook group. I mean, there's so much freaking free value in there. You have Wholesale Hotline with Pace, Brent Daniels, Jamil Damji every Monday. Tuesdays, you have our disposition and asset manager going over underwriting deals that we're actively doing and showing how we underwrite those deals. You have myself on Wednesdays, basically breaking down, again, marketing and systems. And then you have on Fridays, Matt Beard, who he has 16 VAs basically running his wholesale business. He talks about how to have success with virtual assistants on Fridays at 10, so in the morning. So guys, massive, massive value. But yeah, as far as getting leads, that's the lifeblood of your business. If you don't, wholesale is very simple. It's a marketing and a sales business. It's marketing driving leads to get into your funnel for then you to, or either your sales team or whoever's doing the sales process, to actually be in touch with those sellers and actually getting them under contract based on whatever strategy. And so that's the whole purpose of doing these calls. The Wholesale Hotline is showing you how to get from no deals to getting the leads coming in, to then getting those leads and turning those into a contract, and what that process looks like start to finish. So that's what we talk about in the Facebook group every single week. Roadmaprei.com obviously basically breaks down what our business looks like, what systems we use, how many people are running in our wholesale business as well. But if you guys have any questions specifically on leads, feel free to post those on here. Devin, appreciate it. Glad you're getting value from those Wednesday calls. I mean, the reason we do this, guys, is because we just wish we had this when we were starting off in the business. I know, Pace went the route of, buying a franchise, becoming a franchisee of Homevestors. And, I got into the business driving for dollars, turned from being a real estate agent and doing that. And starting off in the business, guys, it's confusing. There's so many different options. There's so many different ways and directions to go. But if you stick with, Pace and myself and the things that we're doing and teaching on a weekly basis, you're going to be able to get everything that you need to get from no deals to one deal, to then one deals, to then multiple deals, and then, duplicating that process. It's just a matter of consistency.
Couple questions here.
Yeah.
Don Plain says, can anyone join REI or roadmaprei.com? So Don, it's not really joining. It truly is a free website. There's not even a lot of interaction. It's just a website that we are building that just gives you the roadmap of how we build our business, what systems we use, how we pay our people. It basically takes the top 100 questions we get on a daily basis and answers them on that free Facebook group. Or it's not a Facebook group, on that free website. There's nothing to buy. There's no mentorship things there. There's none of that kind of stuff. It's truly just a roadmap of what our business looks like. Cody, are you finding like pretty good feedback on that website, or how's that going?
Yeah, no, for sure. I know we have some updates that we're going to do we're going to have our developer go on there and add some additional things that we're working on. And then we actually have a live count of like how many acquisition people we have on our team, and like how many people are cold calling, or how many people are texting, and, you know, each department. So, you know, we're updating that really on a monthly basis, showing, you know, what our business looks like, what things we're using and finding success with. So you don't ever have to really wonder, you know, hey, what systems are these guys using to actually have results? You could just go there, and then based on wherever you're at in your journey, just pick one of those sections.
Yeah. So, and then also, guys, I have, I keep dropping in here. I just say, hey, here's the link to all my stuff. So if you go to that link, let me remind myself what's at that link right now. I usually will give out like free contracts. I'll give out like discount codes. It'll be a link to the YouTube channel. There's a 14-day free trial of GoKnox on there. The 500 free text messages. It kind of tells you just a couple little things. And I change this on a weekly basis. So click on that link. It'll take you to like our YouTube channel. If you're not a YouTube subscriber, go there. If you are not a Creative Finance Facebook member, click on that link. It basically is a link to all of our stuff and our discounts for the time being. So you're more than welcome. Check that out. Not trying to sell anything, just trying to give you guys discounts and guidance where you guys need it. That's all there is to it. Cody, we've gone 2 hours. Have a little under 200 people watching live. Guys, do me a favor. I tell this to people all the time. You can attract bees a lot quicker with honey than you can with vinegar, and we love honey. So for us, honey is compliments and tagging. And a compliment to me is just tagging me on Instagram. I'm a big Instagram user. I love it. So do us a favor, screenshot us, throw it on Instagram stories, throw it on Instagram, and just tell everybody what's the number one thing you learned today. Even if it was just being inspired, even if it was just learning about some strategies or ways to do creative finance. Next week, we are going to focus our time and energy talking about novation agreements with DJ Martin. He sent out a text blast about 3 months ago, a free text blast, and he's making $80,000 on that. And he used back leads to send that out. So we're going to talk about that next week. That'll be our topic of next week. Usually we are flooded with questions about creative finance and deal flow and deal structure and stuff like that. So guys, next week, bring your leads. Let's hear about it. Let's hear about your challenges. Let's hear about real stories that you guys are dealing with and see if we can overcome some of those situations. But in the meantime, Cody, why don't you take us home?
Awesome. Guys, appreciate all of you hopping on this week. We will be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. Arizona time. Again, like I was saying, every single day, basically of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, we have these live videos going on different topics in wholesale real estate, creative finance real estate. So if you're getting value from these lives, please, 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 again, share with your friends. Our goal is to grow our Facebook community to 20,000 plus people by the end of this year. So if you're not in the creative financing with Pace Morby Facebook group, join that Facebook group, tag your friends. If you want to be a part of the giveaway, to be able to partner with us and get half the profits on a deal, DM Pace Morby on Instagram, #firstdeal, all one word together. So appreciate you guys hopping on. If you got value, again, please share with your friends, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.